First time I used meth, like I said, was in the summer after 8th grade, and I used every day all through ninth grade, and then in 10th grade I went to high school, and I really started drinking a lot in high school, and we smoked a lot of pot, and um, I started smoking crystal meth. And there was one year, it was 11th grade, that I didn't use crystal meth, but my drinking was completely out of control. I think we drank every day at lunch, smoked pot every day, and let's see, my senior year in high school, I knew I wasn't going to graduate, and I had been drinking and using, and I really got back into crystal meth, and I ended up at a concert on January 7th, and my birthday is January 8th, which would have been my 18th birthday, and I decided I wasn't going to drink anymore, and I was just going to smoke crystal meth, and the day after the concert, I went down to school and checked in and signed myself out as an adult, and I actually started selling drugs shortly after that, and it really started getting bad when I turned 18, and by the time I was 18 and a half, just over 18 and a half, I got arrested for the first time for possession for sale of methamphetamines. It was actually on Thanksgiving Day, which actually ended up becoming a pattern for me, as every other Thanksgiving Day I found myself arrested and in jail for a period of, I believe it was 6 years. And I ended up getting a PC 1000 class for my first charge, and of course I was so addicted to drugs that there was no way I was going to make it to the class at all. I was just signing the court document so I could get out of jail and go use. And you know, my addiction got so bad that you know, I didn't care. You know, jail didn't matter to me. What my family said to me didn't matter. I just continued to use. From the time I was 18 to 23, I spent the majority of that time in and out of jail. I did 90 days was the first time. And then I believe after that I ended up doing 9 months, and then I did 4 months, 6 months, and you know, you would think that jail would help or would make you think, especially coming from a good family. I come from a, you know, a good solid family, good upbringing. I didn't have a terrible childhood. But I created, you know, insanity in my life through my addiction. And on, let's see, it was November of '96, I got arrested again, and they were going to send me to state prison for 3 years. I had violated my probation 2 times already and picked up a new charge. And my parents actually got me an attorney, and the attorney went in and somehow, after going through 2 different judges, somehow was able to get me into a residential treatment program, which my parents paid for. I was sentenced to 365 days in a residential treatment program, but you know, at that time I was ready. You know, I was ready to give up the drugs and the alcohol, and you know, try something different, because the drugs and the alcohol weren't working anymore, and the pain was getting severe. I ended up in the treatment program. I did the year there, and I really started getting into fitness, and I got my first job. And this is, I'm 24 years old. I had never had a job before. I had no high school diploma, no college education, and I went to school to become a personal trainer. And that was the first thing I ever accomplished in my life that made me feel good. And at the time, I was working at a men's clothing store, and I worked my way from sales to manager within about 90 days, and I did that for a while. And once I got my personal training certification, I started a small business doing that, and I started working at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel as the fitness trainer there. And when I got away from the meetings and the things that you need to do on a daily basis to stay clean and sober, I ended up relapsing, and I relapsed in 99. And what ended up happening was that I forgot that alcohol was a drug. I thought that, I never really had a major problem with alcohol. I can drink. And what ended up happening is I took a sip of alcohol, and over a 6-month period of time, I would drink alcohol occasionally. And at the end of the 6 months, I was drinking more regularly, smoking pot. And one day I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to go, get my drug of choice. And I ended up getting crystal meth, and within 42 days of picking up, I had lost everything that I had gained in that 2.5-year period. I had lost my job, my apartment, managed to hang on to my car at the time, and found myself sitting back in treatment wondering how I got there again. That you think would be enough, but the shame and the guilt that I felt, it was so hard for me to stay sober. I felt like I had done all of this stuff, and now I've thrown it all away. And over the next about 11 months, I did a lot more damage to myself. I went back to treatment. It didn't work because I didn't work it, and I didn't want it to, and I focused on other things than what I should have been focusing on, which is myself. And I started focusing on girls, jobs. I need this, I need that. I ended up getting a young lady pregnant, and she left me while she was pregnant. And to me, being a sensitive person, I was crushed. I was hurt that she didn't want me around, and so I went out and continued to use. And on December 9th of 2000, I had been out selling drugs, and it was the absolute worst my life had ever got. I was selling drugs. I was doing things that, I said I would never do. And on December 9th of 2000, I was driving down the 10 freeway in Pomona, and I rolled my car off the freeway. It's going to be a little bit hard, but I get kind of emotional talking about this, because I should have died that day, and for some reason God kept me alive. And you would think that would be enough, but I was in the hospital. I got out, and I went out and used again, and I called my mom that night and she was crying, and I asked her, why you're crying? And she said, you just had a little baby girl. And I got an overwhelming feeling of emotion, like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to live like that anymore. And I packed myself up, all my stuff that I had left, which was basically the clothes on my back. And I got from LA to Orange County in a matter of 24 hours. And I've never used it again since then. I went down the day I got clean and sober, and held my daughter for the first time, and I just knew that I wanted to be a father